All right, so I'm back again, and today we're discussing something that I was hesitant to bring to on here, but nonetheless, people need to know, right? There's always someone wanting to know how, right? And this is how to get what you want out of the narcissist, right? How to get that short-term cooperation from them, which involves you actually manipulating and controlling the narcissist. It only works short term. Trust me. Short term, nothing long term. You want to engage in this. But this requires, the understanding of their psychological traits, right? And what you're going to be doing is leveraging their needs for validation and strategically positioning yourself as someone who can enhance that self-image or to benefit their ego, right? So this requires very subtle and a careful balance to avoid triggering their defensive and self-centered tendencies while you're trying to achieve your goal short term, right? A lot of you are going through, some of you at least are going through divorces, going to court with them. And so these are just some things, tactics, at least, to help out, right? So you have to have an objective, and that objective is what you want. If you know they're a narcissist, right, then you understand that you cannot deal with them at face value the way you were dealing with them. You have to basically take up on a whole nother persona in order to deal with that type of individual, which is one that's completely emotionally detached. Okay. After all, you need their cooperation for a specific time or goal. And the key is to get them to think they are gaining something in return for their cooperation, right? And this is in the short term. Their behavior can be influenced through, you can appeal to their ego. You can make them feel admired or needed. You can provide a reward or offering validation or praise or present an opportunity for them to shine, right? It has to appear beneficial for them, right? You have to position yourself as someone who can offer them something valuable, right? You have to create that sense of competition. Narcissists love to win or prove their superiority, and they will go to great lengths to doing that. So if you know their nature, you can use a lot of these things against them and they won't see it. Not initially. You can start with, making them feel, more unique or exceptional, even if it's a small achievement or a trivial matter. Ensure that the compliments that you're giving are genuinely sounding, at least. Acknowledge their greatness. They eat that up. They can't withhold that. They love it. That's what they crave. And in this instance, while if you're in this capacity, you're not looking to be validated back. You're making it all about them, right? See, in a normal situation, you want reciprocation. In this situation, you're only trying to gain their cooperation, so you don't care about whether they're acknowledging you or giving you credit for what you're doing or whatnot, right? And why this works, narcissists are always looking for affirmation, right? Flattery can make them feel good about themselves and more willing to cooperate with you. But don't go overboard. That's what some of you, if you do it, you go overboard, you're gonna fail. You have to make it. If you make it feel insecure, well, not insecure, but insincere. Narcissists can sense insincerity and will become very defensive, attacking, and even suspicious, throwing the whole operation out of whack, right? You have to position yourself as useful to them, right? Self interest appeal. Position your request as something, whatever you're trying to get out of them, is something that will benefit them directly by cooperating. The key is to frame the action you want them to take as helping themselves or aligning with their own interests. You can say something like, "I'm so glad," or "Well, I'm happy that you came and did this for me. Only someone as experienced as you could have helped me with this. I couldn't find nobody else." Right? And as long as I've been knowing you, you always had the skills to do what it takes to get this done. Right? And then you have to position it in that way to where it's feeling like you're boasting them, you're feeding that ego, which they love. They eat that up. That's fuel. So you have to feed them fuel, right? And this is why it works, because narcissists are generally, at least, unwilling to help unless they see a direct benefit to themselves. So when you frame a request in terms of what they'll gain from cooperation, from helping, you're more likely to succeed. Right? And don't make it seem like you're using them or asking them for something they don't perceive as valuable. Right? That can lead to the resentment and anger coming out of them. Right? You want to leverage their desire for status and recognition to be able to accomplish this. You can offer them public recognition, or provide opportunities for them to showcase their importance, right? To showcase their intelligence. Right? You want to lift them up on that pedestal, have them, because their minds are going to do the rest. Because you can position it to where you use the future faking against them. Something in coming up where if they do that, you're gonna give them this recognition and whatnot, and their minds will go, because they live in their head. Their minds will begin to visualize that happening, and they'll get so wrapped up into it. They'll be all in doing what you need for the moment, right? So this is about sticking and moving. You gotta get in and get out. This is not intended for anything long term, right? And again, that works because narcissists, they need to feel admired and esteemed by others. So setting up a situation where their contributions are visible can be extremely effective. You can put them in a position where everyone will know that they're the reason why you were able to get such and such, or whatever it may be done, accomplish. And then you'll put a little bit more icing on it, and I'll make sure everyone hears about how you helped me. They need to know that you were involved. Oh, they eat that up. Again, it takes, in this position, you're being strategic. So you're not caring about whether they're thankful or grateful. Again, you have to be in mind of your own emotions. And that works because narcissists want to be seen as superior by others. Public praise always boosts their status and incentivizes the cooperation that you're ultimately looking to gain out of them. All right. You can create a sense of competition or urgency. Narcissists love to win. They like that feeling of winning, or being seen as better than others. And you can use the competitive nature of them, making them feel that helping you will allow them to outshine other people, which will furthermore prove their superiority. All right. You can say something like, such and such is doing something kind of similar to what you were doing, and that's what I need. If you get this done, like for me, in the way that I need it, which you're good at anyway, you'll clearly prove that no one else can handle this like you. Can't nobody do this like you. That's why I'm coming to you. They love that, right? Oh, they eat that up. But you have to have it really mapped out. I'm just giving you just brief examples, but you really have to have it mapped out. Have to brainstorm, come up with a game plan, and structure it around exactly what you want to go after, right? Don't make the competition too difficult to win, or appear like you're intentionally putting them into something where they might fail, because that'll backfire against you, right? Narcissists need to win, and they'll resist anything that threatens their sense of superiority. So if you put them in something where it's gonna be a lose type of situation, that's gonna backfire on you. You have to know that the situation you're putting them in, they can pass with flying colors, right? When you allow them to take charge, right, of a situation, you appeal to their desire to control. You make them feel, empowered, and they're more likely to help in that situation. Right? You can't make it seem like you're being, too strong. You can't come in too strong with it. Another one, and y'all always hear me mention this, is appealing to their victimhood. Subtle sympathy. Very subtle. Put it in a situation where you explain, like, because you've been through the same thing, and I know you know a lot about this, you could probably really help me, because you were done so wrong and whatnot, right? They love that. But don't overwhelm them with like too much vulnerability, or because narcissists they don't empathize with others, and they'll get irritated very quickly if you do that. Right? You got to keep your requests in a positive frame. You got to put it to them in a way that it's always going to highlight their strengths. It's going to highlight their contributions. Right? That's how you have to put it to them if you do it in that way. You can even go as far as having others validate them. Right? Now they won't know. This is all tactics, right? For you to be able to maneuver unseen, stealth. Very short, very brief. It's a brief mission. You're in and out with this mission, right? Timing is everything. When you approach them with this, You have to make sure they're in a good mood. You know, you might have to build them up to that good mood, because this ensures that they're going to be in a cooperative mindset to begin with, and they're more likely going to agree with your requests. And if you do it right, you'll be astounded at how much control you have over them, using the very things, right, the very traits that is in the narcissist from that disorder. You'll be astounded at how well it works. You know, you can get narcissists to cooperate with you for short-term goals. You know, and that has to deal with appealing to their need for validation, status, and self-interest. And by framing your request as something that enhances their self-image or gives them something they value, you can successfully motivate them to act upon whatever objective you're trying to accomplish. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. If you found the video or this message at least helpful, consider to like, share, subscribe. If you want a one-on-one, you want more details or help with your situation, my email is in the description box. Shoot me an email. I'll get you information on how to do that. All right. Till next time, have a good one.